The Full Circle. With DC. And a very, very, very good day, everybody. My name is DC. I am the host of The Full Circle, a podcast where we link songs together with the last song, linking back to the first song, hence completing the full circle. This week, I have a very special guest. I've actually forgotten the number of times she's been on the show now because she has been on it more times than I think she ever expected to be on it. My fiancée, Abby Roberts. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Abby.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, I actually also don't know how many times. This is the fourth, maybe fifth. I can't remember. But it is, as always, good to be back.
Yeah, thank you. And obviously, Abby said good afternoon because we're recording this afternoon, but you might be listening to this on your way to work while you're having a number one or a number two or in bed. So whatever way, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, but not goodbye just yet. So how are you? How have things been since you last came on? You last came on Japan when we spoke about Japan, and now you're here. You're here. You're going to become like the holiday talker. That's what's happened.
Yes, absolutely. Is why you've roped me back in. But I am very well, thank you. And as we'll be discussing, just come back from a lovely trip to Thailand. So that's been brilliant, getting some winter sun in this very wet, cold winter we're having in the UK.
Yeah, from January, I think there's not been a single day where there's been no rain. In fact, I don't know, we're recording this the day after Valentine's Day, and I think Valentine's Day itself, obviously because it's Valentine's Day, the day of love, they got the sun out for everyone, didn't they? So that's nice.
It was beautiful, clear blue skies, very, very cold, but very lovely indeed. Yeah, I don't know if that did break the streak of rain happening somewhere in the UK every day, or if that did happen somewhere.
Yeah, and it's been raining a lot today. I think in some areas there has been some snow, hasn't there?
Yes, absolutely. I have heard that there is some snow in various parts of the country, and it did seem to be laying. Yeah. So we didn't get blessed with the snow, unfortunately. It's just been, again, another very wet day here in London.
Yep, very wet. And we're recording this 2 days after the unlucky Friday the 13th, but it wasn't unlucky for music. That's so lame. But the reason I'm bringing that is because I think already there might be a song of the year. Don Broco and Nickelback, what a ridiculous combination, have released a song together called Nightmare Tripping, the name of their album as well, that's coming out in March. An incredible song. I think it beats Cellophane. I've had it on repeat since then. I just think it is epic. What are your thoughts? And I've just played it just before we started the show. I was like, Abby, we've got to listen to this again just before we start, just to get yourself pumped, because it is just so good. What are your thoughts, Abby?
Pretty much the same. It is epic. Blown away when we first listened to it. It didn't need to take any more listens. The first one, it was enough to be hooked. As you rightly say, it could be a strong contender for Song of the Year, and it's only the second month. So high bar has been set for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure their album's going to be great. I think all the songs have been great so far. I think Cellophane was probably still my fave out of all of them. I think your fave as well out of all of them before this song. I personally do think this song is better. I think it just works with the heaviness, and then that chorus. I mean, that chorus just, I mean, it's so Nickelback, but it's also so Don Broco. It's just, oh my goodness. I don't think I've heard a chorus like that in a very long time. And it's so unique. I think sometimes especially if we're talking about like sort of like rock and metal and stuff, I think there's a formula, I think, which a lot of bands are using, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but my point is that it's just so refreshing to get away from that formula. And I think Don Broco are absolutely smashing it right now.
Yeah, no, it's totally unique, as you say, and it's such an unlikely combination, and it works so well when Chad comes in with the vocals for the chorus. It just elevates it. It's just next level. It's brilliant. And then the guitar solos towards the end. It's just got a bit of everything, and it just works.
Two guitar solos, and watch it. And the music video, I think, because we watched the music video first, I think the music video really, I think it works so well for the song. It's an epic song, and yes, I may be coming across as a Don Broco stan, but I really don't care because they completely deserve the plaudits, and I just hope it really elevates them and gets them the recognition. Not that they don't have recognition already, but absolutely elevates them and takes them to the next level because I think they thoroughly deserve it. Let's begin with our full circle. So this is a fun fact. I know I'm not asking you for a fun fact, but this is a fun fact. This is the first full circle where I don't know any of the songs you've chosen. Before you tell the songs, was there like a theme, or was there like a variety, or what sort of led you to this path for the full circle songs you've chosen?
No, I mean, this is only the second time that I've had full reign with the choices, because obviously the other couples have had a bit of a theme to them. I had the first song that I knew I wanted to do, but then I just kind of went with it, was trying to see and think of links as I went from song to song. And I really actually enjoyed the journey. They weren't songs that I would have thought of initially, but now I've got them in the full song. I think, no, this works really well. So they hopefully do link together as per the premise, but also they've got not links back to me, but I can hopefully tell maybe a little bit of story about each of them. But yeah, no, I just had a lot of fun making this up.
Nice. So without further ado, what's the first song that you've chosen for the full circle?
So the first song is by a band called Motionless in White, and the song title is Necessary Evil. So I chose this song because we actually saw them just last night. That was a birthday gift from your lovely self, wasn't it? Because I had my birthday earlier in this month. Yeah, I was very excited. Nothing says Valentine romance like werewolves and zombies. But no, I do really enjoy Motionless in White. I've seen them a few times now, and they were at Alexandra Palace, so that's one of the larger venues for sure. And they filled it. They did really well, like metaphorically and literally. But metaphorically was what I was kind of more going with. They did really put on a fantastic show there.
Yeah, they were really good. And Dayseeker was supporting them as well, and they were decent.
They were a little bit different to the sound of Motionless in White, but I actually really enjoyed them. I thought they put on a very good show. Yeah,
really good. And yeah, they were in London for Valentine's Day, and actually I put a little poll on Instagram because I was just curious, because I'm not gonna lie, I was half thinking of, do I see Maximo Park? And the only reason for that was because I've never seen them, and their first album, A Certain Trigger, does have some really, really good songs. but not many people, most people chose Motionless in White, and I did choose Motionless in White in the end, and I was not disappointed. I think that we saw them last year in Brixton, and I think their set list was slightly different. I think it had a bit more of a kind of a dance song to it, and yeah, it was really, really fun. And like you say, they were not out of place at Ali Pali, and it was really good. Shall we tell them about a personal thing that happened to us though? Just as we arrived, do you want to tell them what happened just as we arrived?
Yeah, we got through security. We're excited, just walking through, and then security approached us and just said, "Oh, we've been selected for a random drugs test," and to follow him over to the side. We're like, okay, that's a bit strange. Just thinking that it was just a random pickup, we were unlucky. The next step is they go and explain exactly what's happening, and this guy, with so much sincerity, was really laying on, like, if you've got any drugs on you at all, now is the time. If you dispose of them now, here and now, no questions asked. But if we do find any drugs on you, you will be escorted out. And it was just quite shocking. Like, it generally came across that they really did believe that we were there carrying drugs. And the irony of that, because they probably couldn't have picked up they did. They picked up probably the two most square people in
I don't want to be known as a square.
No, in that entire venue. It's just hilarious. But yeah, it was really, I was quite taken aback how thickly he laid on the fact if we had drugs on us and things like that. Shock horror, we have nothing on us. So yeah, it was a very strange experience.
When they searched me, and they took out my ear protectors. What's this? What's this for? And I'm like, it's for the loud music. I mean, again, summing up that we are quote unquote squares. I'm not. I don't vouch for that. But the other thing I was going to say was I just couldn't help myself when he said that. I was like, we're not going to risk our careers for this. Like, genuinely, I just couldn't help myself. It was just so ridiculous. It was not random. Like, well, it might be. I don't want to say that. Do you know what? For legal reasons, it was random. For legal reasons, I'm sure it was random. I'm sure they didn't select us. I'm sure they didn't think we had any drugs. For legal reasons, just in case they seem to think that we might be insinuating something. It was random. We know it was random. But the other thing I wanted to add, it reminded me of a time about 10 years ago when Jay and I, shout out to Jay Sanchez, boom, 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 boom. How you doing, Jay? Me and him went to Vans Warped Tour. And again, very random. They picked me and Jay out and said, oh, we're just randomly checking if people have got tickets. Have you got tickets? And we showed them the tickets. And then they put us in the back of the queue. And we were looking to see if they did it to anyone else because we're in the back of the queue now. So we were looking to see as we went forward. It did not happen to a single person. So clearly, and I wonder if it's me and they think that I don't know, do I just not look like a sort of person that would be coming to these sort of things? I don't want to like insinuate anything, but it's a bit of a coincidence that seems to have happened to me on 2 different occasions at the same venue. But, you know, I'm not, again, it might not have been the case. Or maybe it was you. Maybe you were the one that was out of place. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I wasn't wearing black, so I did stand out at a Motionless in White concert. I will put my hands up for that one.
That's fair. But of course, the gig itself is great. Just a shame about that. And if it was random, fair enough. And it was random. The first song on the full circle, Motionless in White, Necessary Evil.
Oh, and yeah, just to add, the reason I chose Necessary Evil, that song in particular, is because it does sing about a birthday cake. So I thought that was on theme as well.
Ah, very nice. Yeah, nice. How does Motionless in White link to the second song on the full circle?
So Motionless in White, turns out they are from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And if that rings any bells for anyone, it is because Scranton might be otherwise known as the set of The Office, the US version. In the series The Office, there is a character called Andy. And in one of the episodes in one of the later series, he's always very vocal singing and things like that, even a cappella group. And he sang the bass solo of Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al. And he sang that as like a bit of an audition to get for Jim and Pam's wedding. So the second song is Paul Simon, You Can Call Me Al.
Nice. Yeah, really good song choice. I actually only heard that song because a few years back, we went through this phase of just trying to listen to the top 500 Rolling Stones album. And like, again, love music, love lots of genres, but some of them, because a lot of them were like from the 60s and 70s, I just really struggled just personally. It's just not my style of music. I get it. I know that's going to be offensive to some people. I'm sorry. But one of the album, I think, was Graceland by Paul Simon. And yeah, You Can't Call Me Out was... Sorry, You Can Call Me Out. You Can Call Me Out was one of one of the standouts. So yeah, so really good song choice. Paul Simon, You Can Call Me Out, and you like that. Obviously, you're a massive fan of that song. So I was like playing you. I was like, Abby, I think I like one of the songs, and you were like, oh, I know this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I saw that was actually in The Office, because I was going through songs that had featured in The Office, see what I could link it with. When I saw that one, I was like, that is perfect. Absolutely love that song. Yeah, sometimes when I'm at home, I just sit with my parents and we watch the music video of that. So yeah, that is a firm favourite.
Nice. Okay. Well, yeah, Paul Simon, You Can Call Me Al, and we will find out what the third song is after the first part of our Thailand trip. So we'll break it down into 3. So we did 3 nights in Bangkok, 3 nights in Krabi, and 3 nights in Chiang Mai. So we're going to talk about those 3 places in between each song. Bangkok. Abby, you're way better about sort of summarizing these things than me, as we've learned when we did about Japan. So I'm going to leave it to you.
Yeah, so as you say, Bangkok, we had 3 nights there. We landed pretty early, about 6 a.m, and obviously our hotel room wasn't ready, so we just had to crack on and go and see the sights and the smells of the wonderful city. And it is wonderful. We really did enjoy it, but it was tough going with the jet lag, with the heat, because it was a Sunday we landed. There's a market that is called the Sunday Market, and funny enough, it's only on Sunday. So we headed off to see that, which was quite an experience. Obviously, just the hustle and bustle of one of the bigger markets in Bangkok. But also we actually ended up in a section which was the pets section. And that quite quickly became a bit questionable. Initially, we're like, oh, yay, puppies, like quite literally puppies. But then it really didn't take long before you realize just the horrendous conditions that a lot of these animals were being kept in. And they had all sorts, didn't they? Puppies, as I mentioned, cats, birds, really exotic fish, reptiles. There was a cage of like all these lizards that were just like kind of like on top of each other. Quite shocking. They had quite a large cat, which on first like I didn't quite know exactly what it was. It kind of reminded me of a lynx, like a medium-sized cat that was just in this cage. Like that cannot have been legal. So yes, that was definitely an eye-opening experience that we didn't anticipate when we first went there. So after a quick walk around, we're like, no, this is too much. Let's go and get some fresh air. So we went and found a nice park, didn't we? And had a bit of a sit down because we were pooped by now. Before slowly heading back. And then, yeah, I think the rest of the days were walking around, seeing there's lots of lovely temples in Bangkok itself, especially the one with the famous as the reclining Buddha was quite a sight to see. And the temple that it is in, is it Wat Pho possibly, was beautiful. And that was right next door to the Grand Palace, which again was such a sight to see. We were actually there at the very end of the mourning period. So they obviously very patriotic to their royal family. And the Queen Mother had died, I think it was back in November, maybe, because, yeah, they've just had this period of mourning and this was at the tail end. So there was a lot of people still going through the Grand Palace and wearing all black and things, paying their respects to that. But yeah, no, the Grand Palace itself was beautiful. And went and did a boat cruise through the Klongs, I think they're called, which is just their different side of Bangkok. You're seeing all the residences on stilts and things actually on the river and the floating market. And yeah, Chinatown was another eye-opening experience with just all the street vendors and everything. Yeah, it was a mixture of everything. We finished it off with a rooftop bar, which was lovely in the more modern area of Bangkok. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just really good experience. Oh, and the tuk-tuk as well. An absolute crazy tuk-tuk ride. I think they're crazy anyway. But we seem to have a particularly crazy tuk-tuk rider who was just blasting out dance music and just laughing away as he was driving us manically through the streets of Bangkok. So that was an experience.
Yeah, I think that was summarized really well. I think Bangkok, busy, fun. We went to a hard rock as well, which was always classic. There was a band on when we were there and they were playing, I think, some 80s covers, weren't they?
Yeah, I actually thought they were quite good. Yeah, they did. The first song I thought, oh, not sure about her singing. But actually, I think that was just a one-off because after that they were playing some really good tunes.
Yeah, it was great. We were pretty tired on the Sunday. I think that was a tough one, but we got over the jet lag pretty quickly, and yeah, very, very fortunate to be able to do it, and yeah, really, really fun. And yeah, that was part one of Thailand. So that was Bangkok. And then we'll move on to Krabi, which was part two. And obviously that was where we celebrated your birthday. But before that, how does Paul Simon, You Can Call Me Al, link to the third song on the Full Circle?
Well, as I mentioned before, it's actually a very good, very simple, but very good music video that I do watch sometimes with my parents back home. And it stars Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase was in the film Caddyshack, which also starred Bill Murray. And another fairly well-known film of Bill Murray's is Ghostbusters. And so I've actually just gone with the theme tune from that film, Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr., because it's just such a tune. Absolutely love that. And I thought that was a really cool link.
Nice, nice. Not to be confused with Bill Murray singer. Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters, the third song on the Full Circle. Right, let's now talk about the next part of Thailand. So we made it to Krabi. So we got a flight from Bangkok to Krabi, and then take it away.
Yeah, so Krabi was on the coast. We tried to mix it up with having different experiences in Thailand. So we had 3 nights in the lovely It was actually just outside Krabi. It's called Ao Nang, and the beach of Ao Nang was beautiful. We got one of their traditional longboats and sailed round to the neighbouring beach called Rayleigh Beach, which was beautiful. It had the limestone cliffs at the end of the beach, so it really was quite a sight. And they had monkeys there, and they also had a penis cave. I don't fully understand because she's not a god, but people are paying tribute to this. I think it's a statue in the cave, something to do with fertility. So there's hundreds of different sized wooden carved penises. But yeah, so that was quite a sight to see as well. And then I did a couple of boat trips. You just did the one boat trip, which was actually on my birthday itself. We went sailing the Seven Seas to see all the neighbouring islands, in particular the famous Phi Phi Islands. And Maya Bay is the main place on the Phi Phi Islands, which was busy, but actually wasn't ridiculously busy, and it was beautiful. It was really lovely, and we saw some baby sharks swimming. So it's now all protected waters. You can't swim there. You can't sail there. You dock at the back of the island and walk through to Maya Bay. So yeah, they're doing a really good job at like restoring the ecosystem of the bay itself. So yeah, that was beautiful. And we then sailed around some more of the other Phi Phi Islands, and I got to go snorkeling and saw some lovely fish. And then a beautiful island that we stopped on, I think it might have been Bamboo Island, was where we stopped for lunch. And as you can expect with Thai food, it was delicious. And yeah, all the beaches were beautiful. The snorkeling was really lovely. It was a long day, but really beautiful. We both got a little bit sunburned, didn't we? Oops. But yeah, that was a great day. And then in the evening, I treated myself to a mani-pedi, and you had a head, neck and shoulder massage. So that was lovely. And then finished off with a very lovely Indian meal. That was very tasty. And then I did a second boat trip. You were all boated out, but I went off and saw another island called Hong Island, and that was beautiful. That's just like a smaller, still busy, but not quite as well known as Maya Bay. So it had a beautiful bay with like a rock entrance, and there was a viewpoint you could climb up to. The snorkeling was not as good on that trip. It was just basically sediment. There was nothing to see, but still we saw lots of lovely different islands again. There was no duplicates. There's just so much to see off the coast of Krabi. So that was lovely. And then the final day there, we challenged ourselves as a tiger temple cave, which is back in Krabi. It's right at the top of one of the limestone mountains, 1,260 steps high. They're not standard steps either. They're quite steep, quite tall. You're dodging monkeys as you climb up of it. It was exhausting. I was absolutely drenched in sweat by the time I got to the top. My legs were jelly. It was ridiculous. But the views, once you got to the top, were brilliant. Yeah, and you made it up, didn't you?
Yeah,
Just about.
Yeah, that was tough. I thought I was absolutely smashing it at the beginning. I was like, yeah, so easy. And then, when you've stopped running, because I always go on about this show, it's so annoying. But, when you've had this knee pain for so long and can't get it fixed, even though you're doing all the stuff your physio is telling you to do, and you've lost your cardio because you've stopped doing that. I thought I had it at the start. I was going up the stairs, no problem. And then I think about halfway, or maybe just over halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way, or between halfway and 2/3 of the way, I think it really hit me. I was so lightheaded. It was like 35 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius, so lightheaded, feeling, I'm sorry if you're eating, but I was feeling like I was gonna be sick. It was so tough. And then and Abby, I think very kindly, she was a very good fiancée. She stayed. I said, no, just go without me. Just go. And she did. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I was like, no, I've got to do this. And then slowly but surely made it to the top. I saw a monkey try and grab someone's bag and water bottle. And then when we got to the top, a monkey grabbed someone's bag. Oh my goodness, they are cheeky. That's why they're called cheeky monkeys. But regardless, we made it. I made it. We made it, and it was an incredible sight.
Yeah, it was really lovely. And you're a bit apprehensive about going back down, But actually just flew back down. It was no issues going back down, thankfully. So yeah, we did that and then just had a bit of a relax by the pool before flying on to our next and final chapter, which was Chiang Mai.
Yeah, and obviously we haven't spoken about it, but one of the things that happened on Krabi, as you mentioned, was your birthday, which was a great day. And like you mentioned, you spoke about us doing that boat tour and the snorkeling and the Indian. But we obviously you got some gifts. You got some gifts, didn't you, on your birthday? And one of the gifts which I wanted to talk about is I didn't know. You're an author. I didn't know you were a published author because I was just doing some searches about things, and apparently Abigail Roberts has written a book called Quick and Healthy Bariatric Sleeve Recipes: Easy High Protein Low Calorie Dishes of a Meal Plan for Weight Loss and Delicious Diet. And I've got this book to hand, and how have you kept this away? Here, oh my goodness, haven't you read this bit about the author? Abigail Roberts is a passionate advocate for healthy living with a deep-rooted commitment to helping others embark on their own wellness journey. You're a nutritionist and an experienced chef. Abigail combines her expertise to create nourishing recipes that are both delicious and health conscious. Drawing from her personal experience and dedication to the bariatric community, Abigail's mission is to empower individuals to make positive changes that last a lifetime. This book is a testament to her unwavering dedication to providing accessible, flavorful, and transformative culinary solutions. Wow. Congrats.
Thank you. Yes, I don't like to toot my horn too much, all my accolades that I've done, but obviously this book, I wasn't even aware I did it. I must have done it in my sleep or something. But yes, that was definitely a surprise present when I opened that one. I don't know how you found that, but in all fairness, some of the recipes do actually look quite tasty, don't they?
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
If you want to support Abigail Roberts, although it's not this Abigail Roberts, get this book, Quick and Healthy Bariatric Sleeve Recipes, not an ad. Right, let's go back to the music. Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters. How does that link to the fourth song on the Full Circle?
Another famous actor who was in the film Ghostbusters is Dan Aykroyd. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Do you know what? It's so bad. Like, you're so good at names of like entertainment stuff and actors and things. This is why I don't do a TV or movie podcast. I don't know who it is. The name doesn't ring a bell.
It will do in a second.
Oh dear.
Dan Aykroyd is one of two members of the Blues Brothers.
Another birthday gift you got, lol.
Which is what I got for my birthday. Absolutely. Because it is probably, I always say it's my favourite film. It is up there as one of my favourites, if not the favourite film of mine. Absolutely love the Blues Brothers and all the songs in it. One song that is a favourite is Think by Aretha Franklin. So that is my fourth song on the Full Circle.
Nice. Aretha Franklin, Think, the fourth song on the Full Circle. One more song to go. And I just want to add, the reason I got you that film, so I got it as a Blu-ray for you, is because I don't think it's, with Netflix, Amazon, Disney, all those things, I don't think it's available anywhere. So I just thought, hey, you haven't seen it. You always go on about how we need to watch it, but it's never been available. So let's just get you a Blu-ray. You know that it's not going to go away, because sometimes when it's on those things, it goes away after a while. And obviously we get to see the behind the scenes.
Absolutely. It's a very thoughtful gift. I think probably the only way of watching it before that would have been on a very old VHS that was taped, I think, off the TV, which is how we had that film at home and how I watched that growing up. And I watched that many, many times. I could almost quote some bits of it.
Which one do you think's the better gift? Now, I know I'm putting you on a spot here. Which one do you think's the better gift? The book that you wrote or the Blues Brothers film?
That's quite obviously the book. That was a surprise.
That was a proper surprise. Great song choice. And then one more song to go. But before that, let's finish up with Chiang Mai. So what did we do in Chiang Mai?
So Chiang Mai is up north. So we flew up there. I think it was the old capital of northern Thailand. There's a lot of history up there, a lot of temples. So we were staying in the old town itself, which has some old walls. And I think there are over 300 temples you can visit in Chiang Mai. We did 200. No, I'm joking. I don't know how many we did. We did a few, didn't we? Enough for Deb to be templed out by the end of the day.
Why is me?
No, we did do quite a few, and they were all different though, weren't they? There was one that was just made of silver, so that was very cool to see. Oh my word, we haven't spoken about the one where we got meditated. We did some meditation with the monk, didn't we? We just walked in and someone was pointing to us to go and join, and we didn't know what we were doing, but the next thing you know, we were then just walking slowly. And oh my god, do you want to take over talking about it?
I think what I'll say is that basically he would repeat the same things again and again. He'd tell us to walk with our left foot, then walk with our right foot, and then stop, and then turn, and then walk and then start again. Walk with our left foot, walk with our right foot, stop, turn again. He'd keep doing that. We'd keep doing that, and then just when you thought, okay, we're done, nope, 3 more, 4 more rounds, and then sit down. So he'd be like, sit down, sit, and then and then he'd be like, cross your hands, and then, you know, turn your hands, and then bring it up, and then we just sat, and we were just in silence. Like, no one was talking, no one was saying anything. It reminded me, I don't know if you guys have watched the TV Ali G in the House, and they had Borat. It reminded me when Borat asked people in America for 10-minute silence for this like made up massacre. But anyway, it reminded me of that, where we were just in silence, and genuinely I was just like, obviously it's great, like meditation and all, but this feels a very long time. And then we had our eyes closed, and then as we opened our eyes, half the people already got, and we were just like, what? And then just when we thought that was it, that was over, no, stand, and we had to just do it all over again. And I said to Abby, I think we're gonna have to turn around. I think you pointed out something which I think is accurate. I think it's fair to say. What I mean, you said you saw me. You had a look at
yeah, that was it. I mean, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves involved for, but I thought this is. And it was a fantastic experience. I mean, we were in a Buddhist temple in Chiang Mai meditating with an actual monk. I mean, that was incredible. But the problem with it was you didn't know how long it was going to keep going. So as Dad said, we were doing the walking up and down, and then we sat, and we must have sat there for a good 10 minutes, if not longer. And as Dev said, when you opened your eyes, and it thinned out quite a lot. But then you feel like, oh, we can't leave now. There's like next to nobody here. If he opened his eyes, there's no one sat here. So he kept meditating, or trying to. I wasn't very good, but I kept trying to. And then we got up, and then we started doing the walking up and down. And as we were doing the turning around, so I caught Dev's eye, and he was fuming. You could tell he was done. And it's like, how and when do you politely bow out? Like, again, quite literally, because you don't want to be like leaving here with no one there. But someone new joined. They started to sit again, and we were like, no, we can't. Like, it wasn't, again, like really enjoying it, but we had more things to see. We still had quite a few temples on the list. So we kind of, as they were sitting down again, we kind of grabbed our stuff and was like bowing to him and saying thank you, and then just kind of made a run for it. But it was a very, very, very cool experience.
The thing that tickled me was when the monk was, he wasn't telling us to walk. When we stood up, he wanted us to do some things with our hands. He wanted us to put our hands behind our back. So he'd be like, and we'd do it in quite a slow way, and he'd be like left hand back, right hand back, and then fold, and you know, it was just one of those ways to just do it authentically. But whilst he was saying that, the guy in front was just walking, because I think he assumed the monk was saying left foot forward, right foot forward, and I don't know why, but just that mental image of him doing that whilst we were just not doing that just made me laugh. I don't think it's actually that funny.
No,
I'll say it out loud. No. As in, like, saying it out loud, I don't think that. I think you have to have been there.
I had to have been there. Yeah, just seeing him walking away while we were actually still stood there. But yeah, no, that was quite an amusing, but like I say, very cool experience for sure. But yeah, so we did that at one of them, and I think that was actually my favorite temple, because that was one of the older ones. Like the pagoda was.
You only think that's your favorite temple because we did that. That's the only reason, right?
Definitely adds to it for sure. But there were some really old ones. Obviously, you've got the new shiny golden ones, which are beautiful. But when you actually see the older ones, I mean, there's one that they actually left in partial ruins. And that was quite cool to see. It had these huge elephant statues coming off of it. So that was very impressive. And then we taxied up to the mountaintop, didn't we, that overlooks Chiang Mai, and went to another temple up there. Saw that lit up, because we were there at dusk, and that was nice to see that in nighttime. And then went to another hard rock, taking them off because there was a hard rock there as well. And then we also,
Sorry. No, all I want to say is that day, it did actually cause a bit of issues with some things, because we wanted to go to the night market then, which was only open on Sundays. And I think we wanted to go to a couple of restaurants and a place for breakfast. But on that Sunday, I mean, like, it was just so unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate for them. Obviously, it's important for them. But they're having a general election on that day.
Yeah. The night market that again only happens on a Sunday wasn't happening because it was closed for the election.
Yeah.
And normally there is a flower festival in Chiang Mai on that very weekend every year, except for this year where it would have been this weekend. Yeah, it was the following weekend, so we missed that, unfortunately.
It was one of those things where we didn't know we didn't research that. We didn't realize there was going to be a flower festival that weekend, but pure fluke. It was like, oh my goodness, it's going to be a flower festival weekend, only to be told no, it's postponed because of the election.
Yeah. So I think we didn't quite appreciate the impact that it was going to have. Obviously, with an election here, it's happening in the background, but you would still go to work. You'd still do everything. You just go to the polling stations when you can. But for them, things were actually closed or shut down.
I mean, you can't serve alcohol, so you're not allowed to drink. So no one's allowed to drink any alcohol for like basically 24 to 48 hours. And if you serve alcohol, or if you're found to be intoxicated, I think you get fined.
Yeah, there was something to do with like preventing bribing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like be bought with alcohol. Yeah, so that was an interesting element. But yeah, and then the next day we went out on a bit of a day trip, and there was this cafe, I think. It's this, they call it the Land of Angels water park or waterfall park. It is all man-made, but they are beautiful waterfalls. It's all fake, but because it is man-made, it's obviously very beautiful. It's very aesthetically pleasing. So I enjoyed having photos there for an hour or so. And then we went to an actual natural waterfall, and they call it Sticky Falls because even though it's a waterfall, the rocks, they think it's because of the minerals within the rocks, but they aren't slippery. So you can climb up the waterfall. So that was very cool. I did that. I went from the bottom to the top. Involved some clambering at times, and sometimes you needed a rope to get yourself up. But yeah, that was very cool to do that as well. And then the final day in Chiang Mai, the other thing that Chiang Mai is quite well known for is its elephants, the Asian elephant. I'd done a lot of research trying to find like an ethical elephant sanctuary to go to. And that's what I thought we'd booked. It's where it's still advertised as ethical elephant sanctuary, but the actual place we ended up wasn't what was advertised on the website. I'm not sure what happened where. It wasn't quite the experience we were anticipating. I don't know if it is as ethical as I'd hoped. It certainly didn't meet what people have said online it should be doing. There was no riding of elephants or anything like that. The elephants were being quite well looked after, but there still was like quite a big group of us. But we fed the elephants, which was really cool. I got in the water and just threw water over it to help it bathe. They seemed chill, but it just wasn't quite what we had hoped we would be experiencing when I'd booked the elephant experience. And that was our time in Chiang Mai and pretty much our time in Thailand overall, unless you want to talk about...
The only thing I wanted to add was, no, it's just because I want to keep it a little bit music based. When you mentioned climb from the bottom to the top, the first thing I thought of was Linkin Park Forgotten. From the top to the bottom to the top, bus stop. Just remind me of that.
Nice.
Just another thing. And the second thing was, we just flew back to Bangkok and we had a nice meal. Oh dear, I know what you want me to say. There's a very good chance that Yeah, I was worried that I would not be able to even be able to record a full circle. I was worried I'd lost all my stuff related to full circle, like, 'cause it's all saved on my laptop, and yeah, I do back it up. And well, obviously, when you're in Thailand, you haven't backed everything up. And basically, we landed in Bangkok because we were going to fly back the following day. We were staying at a hotel near the airport, and we got a taxi back to the hotel. All good. And then we were checked in and all that sort of stuff. And then as we were going to get food, I was like, Abby, where's my laptop bag? Where's my laptop bag? And Abby was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've left it. And, you get in a little bit of panic, or a little bit, you sort of lose logical thinking. So I was just like, it's got to be at the airport. It's got to be where we were picked up at the airport. It was either that or I left it a taxi, but I was like, no, because I did this, I did that. I was like looking to see if the taxi was there, so I wouldn't have picked my laptop bag up. So then I messaged the guy, because you can still message people. This is really good. This is a really good thing about the app in Thailand. You can message them. The messages are open for like 2 hours. So that's really good. So anyway, I messaged him, but I was just like, no, we need to go to the airport now, otherwise I've lost the laptop. And then got the laptop, got picked up. Unfortunately, like, it's just so unfortunate, and it's just one of those things. We can't speak their language very well. Unfortunately, he couldn't understand our language very well. Even on Google Translate, I think there was some difficulties. He did take us to the airport, but then it found out as I was in the taxi that I did leave it in that taxi we went through. So in short, we didn't need to go to the airport. So we tried to explain that, no, we can just go back to the hotel, but he still took us to the airport, which was very good of him. Obviously, that's where he drove us to, but I tried to explain, no, just take us back the other way, then we can sort that all out. It's not an issue. And then at the airport, the company, that's the taxi company, they called the guy and then basically couriered the laptop on a motorbike. So I thought it was just a mistranslation on the app, but no, the guy on the motorbike just had the laptop on the back and then just not threw it over literally, but just basically flung it over. A stressful time, which cost us an hour, but reunited with my laptop, and that's all that matters. And then we ate really nice-ish. It was average, actually, let's be honest. But then we got the taxi to the airport the following day, and I very nearly lost my wallet because I opened the zip because I was checking I had everything, didn't close it, got out of the car, got out of the taxi, got our stuff, and I said, Abby, I don't have my wallet. And Abby ran to the taxi and got my wallet, and I was like, oh my goodness. So if I'm not like losing anything for a little while, I almost lost 2 things in less than 24 hours. In fact, less than 12 hours. So yeah, that's essentially what happened. I'm silly. It's just one of those things. We all make mistakes. I'm not too hard on myself about it because obviously I got it back. And if I lost it, I lost it. It's one of those things that was on me. But yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking. But obviously it did work out in the end.
That's the main thing, is you got them back. But yes, of all the things to be losing, your laptop and then your wallet are not high on the list, are they?
Probably, yeah. If you're going to rank them, I'd say number 1's passport. That's probably number 1, passport.
Yeah, and that's why I carry that.
Yeah, that's fair. Number 2 would probably be house keys.
Oh, where were they, Dev?
Yeah. But that didn't need to be shared here. But that's fine. I'll share it now. Basically, there was a brief moment when I was on the plane. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't find the house keys." And then it turned out,
no. Where were the keys?
Oh,
yes, the keys were in the laptop bag.
Yeah. So sorry. I need to go back a minute. Yes. So that was another thing. The keys were in the laptop bag. I even said to Abby, I was like, should I put it in the laptop bag in case I lose the bag? And I was like, no, I won't lose the bag. And obviously, tempt fate. It's one of those things where you just tempt fate. It's just silly, isn't it? It's silly. But yeah, anyway, too much talking about me losing. It's making me look silly. This segment, this whole little bit here. I have barely spoken on this podcast this week, and all it is about the negative things that's happened to me. This is controversial. This is very controversial. But sadly true. Sadly true. So, it's one of those things. And we all do it. We all lost things. And yeah, like you say, yeah, maybe the 2 biggest things, bar the passport, that could have been lost, and including the house keys. But yeah, order would be passport, house keys, then probably wallet, then laptop. Because with wallet, you got to like
the inconvenience of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there we go. Right, no, thanks. On that happy note, no, it was happy in the end.
Oh yeah, I say absolutely. The main outcome was you got everything. Like the taxi did not drive off with your wallet in it. We managed to stop that.
Yeah.
And you got your laptop back, and it was quite amusing to see the moped rock up behind us.
Yeah.
With the laptop. So yeah, they went above and beyond. And you hear it all the time, but it is very true. The Thai people are just so lovely, so happy, so accommodating, and they really did go above and beyond. We're trying to get that laptop back for you. So yeah, very big thank you to them.
Yeah, 100%. What was out of the three then? I ranked them. Rank Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Krabi in terms of best to less best.
That's really hard. No, I think probably Krabi at the top, because obviously having my birthday there made it a bit of a highlight, and it was beautiful. I then think, Chiang Mai feels a little bit more cultural, but Bangkok had a bit of everything. So I think I probably would go Bangkok next, because it did have the temples there, which were beautiful, and the palace, but it also had the modern side and the shopping and all that. So I think maybe Bangkok and then Chiang Mai.
Fair. And I think something else from Chiang Mai we need to just talk about is probably one of the most painful Thai massages we've had.
Oh yeah, that was excruciating.
Well, the first Thai massage we had, and it was pretty painful, wasn't it?
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. We had a 60-minute Thai massage. And yeah, that is not relaxing in the slightest. My massage person was pretty much on my bed like the whole time, bending me in different positions that my body just did not want to go into. And I think at one point she was stood on the back of my legs. And if she was massaging any muscles, like particularly in my back, it was elbows only. I don't think she massaged my muscles without anything but her elbows.
Yeah, I had that as well. Mine was a gentleman, and he wasn't gentle at all. The bit at the end when I think my towel accidentally stopped covering my right thigh, and he dug his elbow on it, and that was the most painful part. And he said, "You need to relax," and I'm like, I can't when you've just put my elbow on my flesh like that, because on the towel it's not as bad, but on the flesh. And I was just like, oh my goodness, that was tough, but yeah, decent. And I'd recommend it. It's definitely a good, it's probably good. It basically targets like pressure points and things like that. So it's, it's not, I mean, this is one of those things where I think as medical professionals, we wouldn't be saying to do this as an alternative for like standard, pain management or whatever. But if you want to just go and have a Thai massage and just feel the experience, I think it's worth doing.
I would add though, when we were in Bangkok and we were at, I think it's Wat Phra, it was a temple with the reclining Buddha. They also had a bit, it's the original university where they taught Thai massages, and there is a science behind it, similar to acupuncture, like the lines. So there is theory behind it, and it is now a UNESCO thing, isn't it? I can't remember what category that would be, but it is a recognized cultural thing that is protected.
Yeah, but it's not in nice guidelines, is it?
No.
Yeah, so that's probably what I mean. Yeah. Anyway, that was great. I think, yeah, obviously Krabi was the best because that's where your birthday was. And I also think Bangkok was second because it had a bit more variety. It was a bit like you could do a lot of things. And Chiang Mai, not a distant third, a very close third. In fact, they were all very close. And yeah, really recommend. Really good. Yeah, definitely. If you're able to afford it and you're able to travel, we would both really recommend Thailand 100%.
Very much so. Really enjoyed our time there for sure.
Let's wrap up the full circle. So, Aretha Franklin, Think. How does that link to the last song on the full circle?
Aretha Franklin performed at the Kennedy Center. So they do the presidential honors ceremony at the Kennedy Center. So she did a performance as part of the tribute they were doing to Carole King. Another band that have been honored at the Kennedy Center is Led Zeppelin. I watch this video on YouTube quite often. The Zeppelin members are actually in the audience because other people are doing the tribute to them. And they do Stairway to Heaven. And it is a fantastic performance. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a really big tribute to John Bonham, who was the original drummer, who's passed away. They're all wearing his classic bowler hat that he used to wear. But the band that are singing that tribute, the main singers are Heart. So originally I was just going to stick with Led Zeppelin, but actually I went that one further step, and my fifth and final song in the full circle is Heart with the song Alone.
Ah, very nice. Heart, Alone, the fifth song in the full circle. And how does that link to Motionless in White, Necessary Evil?
Well, yes. So that's the tricky bit. That's why I didn't stop with Zeppelin, because I couldn't work out a way to link it back to Motionless in White. Then I thought Heart, and Heart also has a cool link to myself, because me and my family have seen Heart. They were playing Mardi Gras at Universal Studios. So we saw Heart play then. So that was really cool. Still linking Heart back to Motionless in White is tricky. But Heart actually used to be called White Heart. And they both, therefore, have white in their band title at one point or another. Obviously, they don't anymore, but they did both have white in their band's name. Another even more tenuous link, if you wanted, was Motionless in White do a song called AMERICA and Heart from America. So,
oh my, no, sorry.
Well, I didn't go with that one because that's ridiculous. I mean, you could use that link for any American band.
That's definitely breaks. Yes, that doesn't count. But yes,
it does.
No. The America one doesn't count. I think the white one's fine. But
well, yeah, I had two links there, and I think that American one would count. They do a song called America, Heart from America. But a better is White Heart, Motionless in White.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
The end.
Fair enough. Hence completing the full circle. Thank you so much. Hang on, I need to give you a round of applause.
Yay.
Thank you so much. That's the first time you did it where I think I've not had any involvement in it whatsoever. So thanks so much for doing that. And yes, pleasure to have you on as always. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. It means a lot as always. I think we're going to have to just do this now where you are, whenever we go away on holiday, we're going to have to just review it. I think that's now just turned to a thing. I didn't mean it to turn into a thing like this, but I was like, you know what? Some people really enjoyed that Japan one. Some people said to me that was better than the general music show. How? Like, that is, I mean, I'm not offended by it, but well, I'm a little bit, but it's like, no, what? But anyway, thank you so much for coming on. It's always great to have you on. I think you're so comfortable doing this and it means a lot to have you on. And thank you for supporting me and thank you for the amazing holidays we do together. Without you, we wouldn't be doing it. So thank you so much. And thank you again for coming on the Full Circle.
No, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. I wouldn't be here if I didn't love coming back on. And yeah, thank you for always being up for these crazy adventures that I keep planning.
Let's end it with only one way. Stay safe. Don't eat beef.